Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome to Daily's 2A News. Today I want to give you guys an update on Palmer v. Sisolak, which is the lawsuit that was filed against the state of Nevada to overturn AB 286, which is the firearm precursor law that also banned 80% and unfinished frames or receivers. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, I've talked a lot about AB 286 in the past, including Palmer v. Sisolak, which was a complaint that was originally filed on June 10th of 2021. Now, this is a pretty big case because the state of Nevada decided to take it upon themselves, without any help from the federal government, to simply ban something and require people to destroy their personal property without any compensation. They don't want people to have access to home-built firearms, anything that doesn't have a serial number on it. They want you to go through a licensed FFL, and they went ahead and just went around the Constitution altogether. Now, other states that don't like the Second Amendment are watching this, and so we need to make sure that we set the precedent here by overturning it and showing that it's unconstitutional so that this particular law doesn't spread to those other states. So today I want to talk to you guys about an update and what's going on with Palmer v. Sisolak, because again, things move and they do kind of move fast in the very beginning, especially when it comes to injunctions. So the original complaint was filed on June 10th of 2021, and then on June 18th of 2021, the FPC filed a motion for a preliminary injunction in the case. What a preliminary injunction would do is it would essentially stop enforcement of the law until the case is complete. So for all those people that would be forced, unless they want to become felons, to get rid of or serialize their homemade frames or receivers, this would essentially put a stop to that so that people wouldn't have to worry about it until the case was settled. There's also been some movement since then, and I want to read to you guys what those small moves have been. So again, on June 18th, we have the FPC that files a motion for a preliminary injunction. Since then, each of the defendants on this, because there's more defendants, each of the defendants has filed their response to that motion for preliminary injunction. The interesting thing that I find in this, as it takes place over several days, I would say weeks actually, the first one we have is on the 28th of June, and the last response that we have here is going to be on July 8th by Joseph Lombardo, and Joseph Lombardo has replied multiple times to this preliminary injunction motion. So Joseph Lombardo is the sheriff of Clark County, which is easily the most densely populated county in Nevada. It's in southern Nevada. That's where Las Vegas is, in Clark County. And he actually, in reading his reply to the motion for preliminary injunction, kind of says in a lot of ways that he doesn't really have enough knowledge to make a decision on AB 286 and whether or not it's unconstitutional. And in some paragraphs, for instance, paragraph 15, he says that he doesn't believe that the constitutional rights of people were violated at all. So he seems to be taking a stance of, I don't know. I don't really know enough about what's going on to have an opinion, and in my opinion on the stuff that I do know about, doesn't seem to be unconstitutional. So I find that to be a little bit interesting, given again that he's the sheriff of the largest county that would obviously have the largest effect on the most amount of people, and he's the sheriff that kind of oversees that. The last movement that we have on this is also July 9th, and this is the plaintiff reply to support the motion for preliminary injunction, declaration of Joseph C.G. Greenlee, and declaration of Joseph Ostini. Excuse me if I mispronounced any of those. I tried to read it to get it right. So basically what's happened since, if we've had all the procedural things that have been taking effect. So we had the motion, we had the original complaint on June 10th, then we had the motion for a preliminary injunction. Everybody had a chance to say why they do or do not support the preliminary injunction, and then we have the final, which is going to be the people who are the plaintiffs in this, saying why they support that motion, and now we get to wait to see if a judge actually grants that. So we do have some movement. It's, it's, like I said, kind of fast in the beginning and then slow as things go on, because obviously there's a schedule in the courts and things can take quite a while. And if this ends up at the Ninth Circuit, it's just, it could take a really, really long time. You guys know how the Ninth Circuit works. They just tend to push things off, and then, we'll see what happens. But again, this is a Ninth Circuit issue, and the Ninth Circuit does cover quite a bit. So we want to see something like this completely shut down before, again, other states start implementing it, or the Ninth Circuit steps in and, again, makes one of their emotional rulings instead of actual legal rulings, and, puts us back in a hole that we have to dig our way out of again. So again, hopefully we get a little bit of relief in this one. Hopefully the injunction goes through and people won't be turned into felons overnight, because that's kind of what's happening right now in the state of Nevada. It's definitely going downhill in terms of Second Amendment rights. So I want to thank you all very much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and have a great day.